So in this video I'm going to do something that's completely different. It's not a review, and I'm going to put myself out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to be ad-libbing, and apologies if there are a few bloopers, but hey, that's the name of the game. And what I'm going to ask you to do is basically take a long, hard look at me. Tell me what you see. Now at the end of the day, when I look at the mirror, I see an old man. It's not attractive, that in my opinion is, or was, past his prime. So I'm certainly not in my 20s, I'm not in my 30s. I've got a lot of life experience and I've amassed a fair amount of knowledge along the way, but I'm certainly no Brad Pitt. And Brad, if you're watching, hi. Awkward. But no, I'm not. I bet my wife wish I was, but I'm certainly not. The one thing I am though, apart from a mortgage and protection advisor, the one thing I am is an influencer on YouTube. Now, like I've already said, I'm not 20, I'm not 30, I'm not 40, I'm actually 55 this year. 2.5 years ago, I set up a channel on YouTube called The Gun Locker. And I set it up because at that time I wanted to do something with my daughter. Unfortunately, she has fallen very ill, so she couldn't continue with it, but I have. And I set it up within a niche that I know very well, and it's basically a hobby that I've enjoyed since I was 8 or 9 years of age, and that's shooting. Now don't worry, I don't shoot anything that's living. I'm a target shooter, and I, in my channel, mainly review air rifles and optics. But it's a niche that, like I say, I've been doing for a long time, and I know a fair amount within it, or about it. The bloopers are coming out already, sorry. It's, for me, it was important when I set it up, the channel that is, that I would have plenty of content, because I'm not the sort of guy that will go at something and then just quit at the first hurdle. That's not to say that there haven't been a couple of occasions where I wanted to throw the towel in and just say enough's enough. But I didn't, and I've stuck with it, and 2.5 years later, as I say, I'm now classed as an influencer on YouTube. And it's not me that's saying that, it's my followers that are posting comments within my videos saying, thanks Mark, thanks for the review, I've just purchased this product because of it. With that comes a responsibility. For me, that's quite a heavy burden, because I want to make sure that these people, if they're going to spend their hard-earned cash, money that they've saved over a long time, on something that they hope is going to bring them a lot of pleasure or use, I want to make sure that I give them honest feedback, to give them the tools to make an informed decision. That to me is really, really important. And so I pride myself on producing unbiased, honest reviews. And I've got to the point now where the channel, it's growing. It hasn't got a great deal of subscribers. I think there's somewhere in the region of a little over 5,000, but it's got a large following, and it's amassed a lot of views. And since its creation, it has over 100,600 hours of recorded watch time, which is a lot. It's quite a substantial amount, and I'll come back to that later on in the video. But as I said, all of this has come as a little bit of a surprise to me, because 5 years ago, if you were to say to me that I'm going to be an influencer, I would have just laughed. You know, I honestly, then I thought that that was something that 20-year-olds or teenagers do, and it's mainly in the fashion industry, or it's, you know, to do with makeup, that sort of stuff. That's as much as I knew. What I didn't realise at the time is that YouTube it's just a wealth of opportunities. That's the best way that I can put it. And if you treat it with respect, it can look after you going well into the future. So why do I think that 45 plus years of age, or people that are 45 plus years of age, should start a YouTube channel? Well, in truth, it comes down to life experience. It comes down to amassing a wealth of knowledge that the younger generations simply don't have. And by setting up a channel, you have the ability to influence or to help another individual. Now, you don't have to be an expert at whatever it is you decide to do on YouTube or to promote or present. You don't have to be an expert. You just need to know more than somebody else, and that other individual will then benefit from your knowledge. It's really quite remarkable. And if you think that YouTube is saturated with content creators, you know, there's no word of a lie. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of content creators on YouTube. So why on earth would they want to watch your content, or why on earth would they want to watch my content? Well, it comes back to this whole thing of life experience, as far as I'm concerned. And you may be surprised to know that the average age of successful YouTube creators isn't 20 something or 30 something, it's 40 plus years of age. So that must tell you something. And I think the reason why people 40 plus years of age are successful within YouTube is because they have that life experience. They are generally thick-skinned, and when they go into it, they don't expect to be a success overnight. It's like any job. People of our generation have, in my mind, and you know, I'll probably be slated for saying this, but many of them have an ingrained work ethic, and you need that to be able to make a successful channel, because it takes time, it takes effort, there's a lot of work that goes into it. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of hours I've put into the gun locker. It's a lot, it really is a lot. And I've produced, well, I think 74, 75 videos. Quite a few of them have been removed, so probably in excess of 100. I've done shorts as well, but they haven't worked for me, so I'm not going to talk much about them. But I am a long form content creator. What that means is that my videos are generally, when it comes to reviews, in excess of an hour long. I did that for a reason. I did it because I'm more comfortable producing that sort of content than I am a 3-minute short. And within the realms of YouTube, and within the realms of monetizing YouTube, and I'm going to come to this in more detail shortly, the length of the video actually helps with regards to meeting YouTube partner program requirements. So just because you're 45 plus years of age doesn't mean to say that you have nothing to add. You have lots to add, and there are people hungry for it. They really are. Tell you what, I'm going to talk to you about my profession just for a minute. Now, my main profession is that of a mortgage and protection advisor here within the UK, okay? And I decided to set up a YouTube channel called Advisors for Me, because my company's Advisors for Me Financial Services Limited. So I decided to set that channel up literally a week ago. And a few days later, I posted my first video on that channel. Now that video has already amassed 2,600 views, okay? Not a great deal, but a substantial amount. Now to me, that's 2,600 people that have found it interesting. More importantly, that's 2,600 potential customers that may want me to advise, you know, on their needs. They may ask for mortgage advice, they may ask for life insurance advice, you know, income protection advice, that sort of thing. So I see YouTube as not only a place where I can voice my opinions, you know, post reviews, but I see YouTube as a way of generating more business for my other company. And that's, you know, that's another way of looking at YouTube and understanding why at 45 plus years of age it could be extremely beneficial to you. The thing about YouTube is that if you post a video on it, and provided there's no real offensive content and it's not removed by YouTube, it's likely to stay there for years. And if you're able to monetize your channel, and I'll talk about that in a second, that video will be providing you a passive income well into retirement for as long as YouTube exists. And I can't see YouTube not existing for many, many years. And don't forget, YouTube is the second largest search engine on the internet, and it's owned by the first largest search engine on the internet, which is Google. So if you post a video on YouTube, it will get seen in Google searches. You just need to scroll down the front page and you'll see video upon video on whatever search that you're after. Well, that's the power of YouTube being connected to Google, and that's the power of promotion, which could help your business no end. So I guess, why start a channel? Well, I mentioned monetizing it. Now, monetizing a YouTube channel isn't easy. It takes a bit of effort, it takes a little bit of time. Some people have managed to do it in a ridiculously short space of time, but that's because they understand YouTube and they are more commercial in their approach than, you know, your normal creator who's more interested about their niche, about their hobby, about what, you know, makes them tick. But generally speaking, to monetize your channel, you need to join YouTube's partner program, and that has certain requirements. The two main requirements is that you have 1,000 subscribers and you amass over 4,000 recorded watch time hours in the last 365 days, and that's a rolling 365 days. Now, the 1,000 subscribers, that can be difficult to achieve, and the 4,000 hours can be very, very difficult to achieve. But let's put this into perspective. So my last video that I posted on the Gun Locker, okay, I think it's about 14 days ago now. It's had over 30,000 views. It's 20 minutes long, I believe, something like that, 20 minutes long. And already it's had over 3,006 hours of recorded watch time. By my reckoning, this video alone will achieve 4,000 hours of recorded watch time within the next 4 to 5 days. So you can get that time, that target, within a matter of a couple of weeks. It's aided by the fact that it's long form content. So the longer the video, the less views you need in order to amass that amount of view time. Shorts, on the other hand, where they're less than 3 minutes, means that you have to have hundreds of videos posted and thousands of views per video to be able to get those 4,000 hours. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, once you've got the 1,000 subscribers, and once you've amassed the 4,000 hours of watch time, you can then monetize your channel. And at that point, it's important to realize or to make a decision as to whether you're going to do it on a personal account or a business account. If you decide to do it on a business account, just be aware that should your business change in the future, whether you change address, name, trading, whether that business stops or ceases to trade, you may not at that point receive any further income from YouTube, because it will tie the account up to your business, and if your business is no longer in existence, you won't get paid. You'll have to go through the process of registration again. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so when we're talking about monetizing your channel, I guess the main way that most people talk about is through ad revenue. And what this basically means is that once you've been accepted onto YouTube's partner program, you're able, provided your content is advertiser friendly, you're able to benefit from ads being placed on your videos. Now, if those videos are over 8 minutes in length, you can also put adverts within the video itself at certain time limits and certain time frames, and you can adjust how many of those adverts are going to be posted within your video or shown within your video. You will receive a payment, and generally speaking that happens around about the 22nd or 23rd of the month, around about that time each month. But you'll only receive that payment once you've amassed $100 of ad revenue. If you don't get it in the first month, then that rolls over into the next month, and so on until you've got your $100, and then YouTube will pay you out. So that's one way, and that's probably the most spoken way of, or talked about way of earning money via YouTube. There are several other ways to do it. So I've already mentioned my other channel, Advisors for Me, and basically what I'm doing there is creating what I call a lead generation platform. The services that I provide are being spoken about within that channel, and the information that I'm offering, I believe, is of benefit to the viewer. So much so that with time, I hope that they'll approach me and ask me for some help, and at which time, you know, I might arrange a mortgage for them, or I might arrange some life insurance, income protection, that sort of thing. That's what I mean by lead generation. So within your video, you provide links to your website, to your business, contact details, whatever they may be. You might put a telephone number on there, you might put an email address on there, a website address, a link to your booking calendar, that sort of thing. And YouTube, in that sense, will help boost a customer base. Yeah, does that make sense? Another way of generating income is via what we call affiliate programs or affiliate links. So what this basically means is that you have a product. Look, what I've got here is a Hollyland Lark Max audio system. Okay, so you would promote a product, and I'm not promoting this product, by the way, I'm just using it as an example. But you'd promote that product. You would then paste a link within your video to the sales page where you can find that product, and when a person clicks on that link and then goes on to purchase the product, you'll receive a small commission. The easiest way to do that is through something like Amazon. They have a huge affiliate program, and you're not going to make a lot of money per sale, just a few percent on each one. I think it's between 3 and 7%, something like that, per sale. But you know, it's a start, and it can help you to monetize your channel before you've even got to that 1,000 subscriber or 4,000 watch time hours. You know, this is something that you can do alongside that target of achieving YouTube partnership program status. So that's another way. And by the way, guys, online there are loads of manufacturers and dealers that are offering affiliate programs. So, you know, if that's something that you're interested in doing, just do a little bit of research. And, you know, if you were to go to, say, Amazon, just as an example, scroll down to the bottom of the page and look at their affiliate program. And it explains what you need to do in order to be able to join it, and then how you get your links for their products that they have on sale. And don't forget, Amazon is huge, it's absolutely massive, and all of the products that they've got on sale you can get a link to, so you could benefit, you know, via an affiliate program. Now, another way that you can make money is via sponsorship or brand deals. This isn't going to happen straight away. This is something that will happen in time. It's taken me 2.5 years for manufacturers to actually start approaching me and asking me to look at their products, review them, obviously in my way. Like I say, it's unbiased. And, you know, with regards to payment, well, it's up to you to decide, you know, how you're going to negotiate that. It could be in the form of you review the product and you keep the product, so that's payment, okay? Or you could get paid a certain amount of money depending on your channel's viewing potential and also your negotiating skills. So it's something to kind of aim towards, but don't expect to do it straight away. It's just, you know, it's not going to happen. It takes a while to get established, to get a name for yourself, a good reputation, and of course to get that viewing power, which is all important. And then lastly, which if you go on YouTube and there are people that you follow, what you'll hear towards the end of their videos is them selling their merchandise. So that could be t-shirts, hats, mugs, anything really. It could be hooks, it could be lures, it could be coasters, it could be coffee. You know, it's just a myriad of products that have been branded up by that creator's or in that creator's branding, their logo, their artwork, whatever you want to call it, and they're trying to sell you that merch, because by doing so they're going to get a large commission per sale. Now, they don't necessarily own the product, okay, and they haven't necessarily created that merch. There are plenty of companies online that what we call print on demand that will actually print your logo, your artwork on their products, you know, apparel, clothing, mugs, accessories, phone cases, all sorts of things, bags. You know, they'll print your artwork on their items, and then they'll sell it to your customer and distribute it to customers. So they're responsible for the product, the labour, the warehousing and the distribution. You simply get a commission for selling it. So you'll see that quite often with a lot of YouTube creators. And if it's not merchandise that they're trying to sell, then it'll be digital products, and that could be in the way of courses, it could be in the way of templates. You know, there are certain ways in which you can sell a digital product to an individual, and that's generally speaking what they do. So there you are. That's effectively the 5 different ways that you can monetize your channel. And remember, once you start down this road, this is a passive source of income that could last you your lifetime. It really could. It can far surpass your retirement age, and that in this economic climate could be really useful. It really could. So I've spoken about myself, I've spoken about my channels, and I've told you how you can monetize your own. What I haven't spoken about yet is how to get started. Now, you don't need much. If you've got a smartphone and it has a recording capability, then use that. Just film something. Get into the habit of picking up your phone and recording. And it can be anything. You could be talking to the phone as you're going for a walk. You can be expressing your opinions or your thoughts on something, you know. You might see something of interest and you just film it. But get in the habit of doing so, because that will help you start to build a video in your head. Start to create an idea which, you know, could blow up. It really could. And then as you kind of proceed, you might want to think about maybe a better camera. But prior to that, I would recommend some decent audio. Now, I've had it in the past, and I've had it recently where the audio has failed on me, and I missed out on 4 really important interviews, and I was livid when I found out that my audio had failed. Hence, I now have this, okay, which is, it's not cheap. It's high-end audio equipment. By high-end, I mean that you can get lapel mics like this for 20 to 30 pounds, not this brand obviously, but you can get them, and they'll work adequately with your phone or with a camera. But in my case, they didn't, they failed. And the interviews that, you know, that I ran, they were just so good. I'm so upset that, you know, I lost the audio on them. Yeah, it's embarrassing as well when it happens. So never again. So I've invested in a set of these. About £300, £270 thereabouts. There are a few varieties out there, and you need to do your own research. This is Hollyland Lark Max Duo or dual receivers with a transmitter. Sorry, dual transmitters with 1 receiver. So new to me that I'm still learning, but that's what I've basically just invested in. So guys, from my own bitter experience, audio is important, you know, because if you can't hear the interviewee, or the interviewee, then there's no point actually doing it in the first place, and you get egg on your face, which is what happened to me. So yeah, if you can afford it, invest in some decent audio. And then you can go on to things like studio lighting if you want to do that, or if you want to film outside, you know, film outside. It doesn't really matter where you do that. Once you've got the footage, then you need to think about how you're going to upload that footage to YouTube. And generally speaking, you're going to need some editing software. Now, there are several free software packages online, okay, and there are also paid software editing or video editing packages online. What I would recommend, and the software that I use, is Canva. Now, I'm not getting any commissions for this. This is just me telling you what I use, and I use Canva because my daughter introduced me to it first off. It's a free software. I mean, there's another video editing software called VSDC, which is free. All of these free softwares, you can buy upgrades to them. They're professional packages, which, to be fair, I've upgraded my Canva and gone to a pro package because it gives me more features, and there's features that you can use whilst you're editing your software that just makes it a little bit more dynamic, you know, gives you a bit more control. But you're going to want some software like that, and you're going to want to get familiar with it. Now, in future videos, I'm going to start explaining how this software works, so hang about for that one. And by the way, what I should have mentioned as well is that if you're using a handheld device like a phone to record video, then as you're walking around, you might get some shaky imagery. Something like this, now this isn't switched on, but something like this, a gimbal, will help stabilize the image, and your phone just snaps on magnetically to the gimbal, and then whichever way you walk around, that will keep your phone fairly stable. Okay, it just gets rid of that handshake, and then you can move it from left and right and pan up and down. You can have special effects where the phone will spin slowly to give you an image that rotates, you know, if you're going down, I don't know, like a tunnel or a passageway. So yeah, they're handy bits of kit. Not cheap, again, a few £100, but worth it if this is what you want to get into. And then your main camera, of course, I'm using a Sony. You're looking at a decent camera somewhere in the region of £600 to £1,000 will get you a decent video camera that gives you the footage that you need. So that's the sort of equipment that you're going to want, the editing software that you're going to need, and then the actual process of uploading videos onto YouTube is really very simple. And what I'm going to do with that is cover that on another video. So guys, I said to you that I believe 45+-year-olds should start YouTube channels. I believe it because of the value that they have to offer, the value that you have to offer. Society needs it, in truth, and especially with the way things are going now, and with education being the way that it is, life experience is easily lost or forgotten about. And I think it's important that, you know, if you do have an opinion, you express it and you help other people, because knowledge, memories, all that sort of stuff, they're important, you know, and we do need to remember about the past, how things were done before, because that's what bonds our society, in my opinion. That's what keeps us strong. So yeah, that, I think, at the end of the day, is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, it's completely different for me. It's put me out of my comfort zone, I must admit, and I apologise if I've stuttered a little bit, but like I say, this is all ad lib. Brad, if you're watching, hey up. You probably won't be, and you never will, but you never know. This is YouTube. It could happen, and if it does, hey, I'll let you guys know. For now, I think that's it. I hope this has been informative. I hope that you do decide to start up a channel. If you've got any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll get to you as soon as I can. Yeah, I'm here to help. So yeah, don't be afraid to drop those comments down there or those questions. And remember, it's never a silly question, okay? If it's on your mind, talk about it. It's just a lot easier if you share it, isn't it? Anyway guys, thanks for watching. That's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and till the next one. Bye bye.